As we continue our Food for Faith reflections, I want to offer a word about our human need for healing. We're here today in Hanmer Springs, and 100 years ago, the first soldiers began to return home from the First World War. Many of them were suffering greatly, many of them from physical injury, but a great number more, often unacknowledged, from emotional scarring, from shell shock, as they called it then, in its variety of forms. Many of these people tragically suffered for the rest of their lives. They came here very aware of their need for healing. You can see the buildings that behind me that were built a century ago to house them. And after there was no need for soldiers to return from war to such a place, these buildings became a place of healing in a different form for people who were suffering from drug and alcohol dependency. They too came here very aware of their need for healing. We don't like it when we feel our own need for healing. Perhaps we're feeling unwell for a day or a few days. We don't like being sick. We don't like needing to be healed. But the fact is that we all need to be healed all of the time. We all have scarring. We all have injury. We all have burdens in some way. And the wonderful thing is that from the Christian point of view in our relationship with Christ, this need for healing is a great gift. Acknowledging our need for healing is a great gift because it turns us to God. And that's why, particularly in the years when these buildings were used for drug and alcohol dependency and for the recovery of people who were suffering in this way, as part of their progress, as part of their growth and part of their healing, they needed to come to an acknowledgement of their dependence on a higher power, certainly an awareness of the reality of their situation, but getting to the point where they were aware that they couldn't heal themselves. And this places them and places us too, when we're willing to acknowledge this, in right orientation to Christ, who is the healer. All of us are wounded. All of us need healing. And the healing comes when we orient ourselves to Christ, focused on Christ, who is the healer. You might like to take a few moments after watching this video to cast your mind back through your own life, acknowledging moments or experiences where you have been wounded, where you have experienced pain or hurt, where you have been aware of your need for healing. And acknowledge that because of our faith, because of the reality of the risen Christ present with us, this healing is not a problem when we turn to Christ, who comes to heal us. This is our need for salvation. And today we don't hear as much about that need. We like to think that we, by our own efforts, by our own skill and by our own discipline, can heal our souls. We can save our souls. Of course, that is not the fact. When we're honest, and often our sickness brings us to this honesty, we know that it is only Christ who can heal. This is the heart of our faith. And so today, let's turn anew, aware of our fragility, our weakness, our vulnerability, our frailty, and our woundedness. Let's turn to Christ, who is the healer.